Most woodworkers are running the same 3 tools they have always used, and leaving better options on the table. There is an entire world of measuring and layout gear built for real shop work. Here are 28 of the best on Amazon right now. Number 1. Digital Caliper 6-inch. A 6-inch digital caliper that reads in inches and millimeters with a clear LCD display. For checking tenon thickness, dado depth, dowel diameter, or any measurement where a tape does not give you the precision you need, this is the tool. It locks in a reading with one button and fits in a shop apron pocket. At the price point, it is the first precision measuring tool every woodworker should own. Number 2. Laser Tape Measure 50 meter. Point press, read. A handheld laser distance tool that gives you accurate room measurements without a second person holding the other end of a tape. Useful for planning shop layouts, measuring for built-ins, or dimensioning lumber before a cut. The display is easy to read in any lighting, and the compact body fits in a pocket, a fast, practical upgrade for anyone who takes measurements often. Number 3. Speed Square 7-inch. The 7-inch Speed Square has been a job site staple for decades because it solves real problems fast. Mark a 90-degree cut line on dimensional lumber, set a consistent bevel angle, or use it as a fence guide for a circular saw, all with one tool. Machined from aluminum with clear degree markings, this one holds its accuracy over years of hard use. Every woodworker and framer keeps one within arm's reach. Number 4. Combination Square 12-inch. The Combination Square is the layout tool that does the work of several others. Mark 90-degree and 45-degree lines, set a consistent reveal, check that a mortise is square, or use the built-in level for quick checks. All with one tool. A 12-inch blade with a cast iron head that locks solidly at any position. Precise, durable, and one of the highest value tools in any woodworking setup. Number 5. Stainless steel ruler set. A 4-piece set of rigid stainless steel rulers in the sizes a woodworker actually reaches for. 6, 8, 12, and 18 inches. Etched graduations that do not wear off, a no-slip back that holds on smooth surfaces, and straight edges accurate enough for layout work and marking guides. Keep a set at the bench and another at the table saw. One of those everyday tools that earns its keep on every single project. Number 6. Mechanical Carpenter Pencil Set. Mechanical pencils built for the shop, with a flat body that does not roll off the bench and thick leads that do not snap under pressure. Mark cut lines on rough lumber, trace profiles, or write dimensions on parts without worrying about a broken tip mid-project. Refillable, consistent, and far more controlled than a standard round pencil on wood. A small upgrade that removes daily friction from every project. Number 7. Cabinet Hardware Jig. A dedicated jig for placing cabinet handles and pulls in exactly the same position on every door and drawer. Every time. Set the spacing once, pin it in place, and drill with confidence. No measuring, no math, no misaligned holes after the fact. For anyone building or installing cabinetry, this jig eliminates the most common and most visible mistake in the whole job. It pays for itself on the first set of cabinets. Number 8. Kreg Multi-Mark Marking Tool. A purpose-built layout tool that marks center lines, transfers measurements, and scribes consistent lines without setting up a square or a ruler. Compact enough to keep on the bench and useful across dozens of layout tasks, finding the center of a board, marking parallel lines, scribing a reveal. For woodworkers who do a lot of layout work, this is the tool that speeds up the part of the job that usually slows everything. Number 9. Scratch Awl with Hardwood Handle. The Scratch Awl is one of the oldest layout tools in woodworking and still one of the most useful. Scribe a fine line along a straight edge, mark a drilling point precisely, or score a groove before chiseling. The wooden handle gives you control that a pencil cannot, and the sharp steel tip marks exactly where you intend. A basic tool most newer woodworkers have never tried, and most experienced ones would not work without. Number 10. L-Square Carpenter Square 8 by 12 inch. A steel framing square with a clean layout and laser-etched graduation marks that stay readable through job site conditions. Use it to check for square on panel glue-ups, mark 90-degree cut lines on sheet goods, or square up a cabinet carcass before the clamps go on. The 8x12 size handles most shop tasks without being awkward to store. An underrated layout tool for the price. Number 11. Wheel Marking Gauge. A wheel marking gauge cuts a fine scribe line into wood fibers rather than tearing them like a pin-type gauge. The result is a cleaner, more visible line for hand-cut joinery, dovetails, mortises, tenons, and rabbets. The wheel cutter stays sharp longer than a standard pin and rides smoothly along the grain. For woodworkers doing any hand tool work, this is the marking gauge to own. The difference in line quality is immediate. Number 12. Contour Gauge Duplicator 2-pack. A profile duplicator that captures the exact shape of any irregular surface, baseboards, tile edges, pipe cutouts, trim profiles, and transfers it directly to your workpiece. Press it against the profile, lock the pins, trace the shape onto your material, and cut. Eliminates the guesswork from any scribed fit or irregular cutout. Comes as a 2-pack so you can use different widths for different jobs without resetting between them. Number 13. Spring Caliper and Divider Set. a 3-piece set of spring calipers and dividers for wood turning, hand tool work, and any task where transferring a measurement from one piece to another matters. Inside calipers for checking mortise width, outside calipers for tenon thickness, and a divider for stepping off equal spacing. These tools work without a digital readout or a battery, and experienced woodworkers reach for them constantly. The kind of toolset that improves your hand skill as you use it. Number 14. 3D Multi-Angle Measuring Ruler. A ruler built around a rotating pivot that lets you measure and transfer compound angles in 3 dimensions, not just flat on a bench. For crown molding, chair legs, complex joinery, or any situation where a standard angle finder gives you only part of the answer, this tool captures what others miss. Set the angle, lock it, and transfer it directly to your material or your miter saw. Geometry made physical. Number 15. Center Finder and Offset Scriber. A tool built specifically for finding the center of a board and scribing consistent offset lines in one step. Set the width, press the guide against the edge, and drag it down the length of the board. The center mark is already done. For consistent mortise placement, dowel centering, or any layout task that starts from the middle of a board, this removes the calculation entirely. Simple, fast, and accurate every time. Number 16. 6-in-1 Carpenter Square 7-inch. 6 measuring and layout functions in a single compact square, including inside angles, outside angles, scribing, and depth measurement. For woodworkers who want to reduce the number of tools they reach for mid-project, this one handles the common tasks without switching tools. The 7-inch size works on standard lumber and fits into an apron pocket, a well-designed multifunction tool that earns its spot on any bench. Number 17. Contour Gauge with Lock 10-inch. A 10-inch contour gauge with a locking mechanism that holds the captured profile in place while you trace no slippage, no shifting, no lost shape. Wider than most contour gauges, it handles larger profiles in a single pass without repositioning. For flooring, trim work, tile installation, or any scribe fit job, the locking feature alone makes this the better tool. Once you use a locking gauge, going back to a standard one feels like working with one hand tied. Number 18. 6-foot Folding Wood Rule. A traditional folding wood rule, the tool that finished carpenters and old-school woodworkers have used for a century because it works where a tape measure fails. Stiff enough to span a measurement unsupported, compact enough to fit in a chest pocket, and graduated with clear markings that hold up over decades of use. For interior trim work, furniture making, and any task where rigidity matters, this rule does what flexible tape cannot. Number 19. Adjustable Woodworking Scriber Ruler. A scribing tool with an adjustable fence and a built-in angle scale for marking lines parallel to any surface, walls, floors, panels, or frames that are not perfectly square. Set the offset, run the fence along the reference edge, and the scriber marks a consistent line for the entire length. For fitting panels, scribing to walls, or any layout task that starts from an irregular surface, this removes the guesswork and gives you a clean-cut line. Number 20. Mini 3D Multi-Angle Measuring Square. A compact square with a pivot-based design that captures angles for holes, dados, and profiles that are not square to any standard reference surface. Small enough to use inside a cabinet or along a narrow rail, it captures compound geometry that flat squares and protractors miss entirely. For woodworkers doing fine furniture, box making, or any work where angles compound in multiple directions, this is the tool that makes those joints fit properly. Number 21. Router and Table Saw Setup Blocks 16-piece. A set of precision machined setup blocks for dialing in router bit height, table saw blade height, fence position, and dado width without guessing or test cutting. Each block is a known, accurate dimension. Stack them to reach the height you need. For woodworkers who make repeated setups on the same machines, these blocks turn a 10-minute process into 30 seconds. The kind of shop tool that changes how you approach machine setup entirely. Number 22. T-Square Ruler Set 3-piece. A 3-piece set of T-Square rulers in standard shop sizes, designed for marking consistent lines across wide panels, sheet goods, and workbench tops. The T-head registers on the edge of the material and holds the blade perpendicular without clamping or holding a square at the same time. For consistent dados, panel layouts, and any marking task on sheet goods, this set handles it faster and more reliably than a combination square alone. Number 23. Exactor 9-in-1 Measuring Tool. 9 measuring and layout functions in one compact body, including a depth gauge, an inside and outside caliper, an angle finder, a stud finder function, and more. For woodworkers who want one multi-tool at the bench rather than a drawer full of single-purpose gauges, this covers most common tasks without switching tools. Well built for the price and compact enough to keep in a shop apron. 9 tools in the space of one. Number 24. 24-inch Measuring Ruler with Hook Stop. A rigid 24-inch ruler with a hooked end stop that registers against the edge of a board for repeatable measurements without repositioning the ruler every time. For production work, jig building, or any task where you mark the same dimension repeatedly, the hook saves time on every single measurement. Aluminum construction keeps it flat and straight over years of use. A simple improvement on the standard ruler that becomes indispensable fast. Number 25, Japanese wood marking gauge. A traditionally crafted Japanese marking gauge with a wooden beam, a brass-tipped cutter, and a wedge-lock fence. It scribes a fine, clean line along the grain without tearing the wood surface, the kind of mark that a sharp chisel follows. Precisely, for hand-cut joinery, dovetails, mortise layouts, and fine furniture work, this is the marking gauge that woodworkers with good tools keep going back to, made in Japan and built to last. Number 26. Point-to-point Equidistant measuring tool. A layout tool specifically designed for dividing a space into equal parts without math. Set the endpoints, expand the tool, and the intermediate points are automatically marked at equal intervals. For stair baluster spacing, shelf pin layout, drawer divider placement, or any task that requires consistent equal spacing across a span, this tool eliminates the calculation and the risk of cumulative error. One of the most genuinely useful layout tools most woodworkers have never seen. Number 27, Multi-Angle Carpenter Square. A Carpenter Square with a pivot system that locks at specific angles, from 22.5 degrees through 90, for marking precise cut lines on everything from miter joints to polygon frames. For woodworkers building picture frames, hexagonal planters, octagonal tables, or any project where the angles are not 90 degrees, this square removes the guesswork from every layout step. Set the angle once and mark as many pieces as you need. Number 28, Aluminum Offset Marking Gauge. A 10-inch offset marking gauge with laser-etched graduation marks and a fence that registers on the face or edge of a board to scribe a line parallel to it. The offset design keeps your pencil or marking knife away from the fence, giving you a cleaner, more controlled scribe than a standard straight edge allows. For cabinet reveals, consistent rabbet layout, or any parallel line marking task, this gauge is faster and more accurate than setting up a combination square every time. That wraps it up. 28 woodworking measuring and layout tools on Amazon right now that most people did not know existed. Drop a comment telling us which one you are adding to your shop first.